Over to our top story this Monday morning. The Congress High Command has come out with what they call a truce formula for the infighting in the Punjab Congress unit. They've placated Navjot Singh Sidhu. He is now the chief of the Punjab Congress, something that will not go down well with Captain Amarinder Singh. Sidhu has been appointed as Punjab Pradesh Congress Committee chief along with 4 other working presidents, Kuljit Singh Nagra, Pawan Goel, Sukhwinder Singh Danny and Sangat Singh Gilzian. They've all been appointed as working presidents, and it's important to highlight that none of these names are Captain Amarinder loyalists. After the appointment, Sidhu visited a Gurudwara in Patiala. He also visited the Kali Mata temple. His supporters were seen gathering and celebrating his elevation in his constituency, Amritsar. This decision could have far-reaching implications. It could only lead to the war between Sidhu and Amarinder escalating, because we all know how Captain was dead against Sidhu being made the Punjab Congress chief. This decision by the party high command may pose a threat of only increasing the factionalism in the party. It can also be viewed as a big risk for the Punjab Congress, as the appointment of this new state chief comes only 6 months before the polls, and it may have miffed more Congress netas. The big twist in the Punjab power play. A sweeping win for Navjot Sidhu even before the state polls. The disgruntled cricketer turned politician has officially been elevated as the Punjab Congress chief, sweeping veteran Chief Minister Amarinder Singh for a 6. The big announcement amid days of massive infighting and severe opposition from his boss. The letter that named Sidhu the captain of Punjab Congress was signed by Party General Secretary K.C. Venugopal. 4 other party members were named the working presidents of the Punjab Pradesh Congress Committee.
I have no doubt that all party men, whatever may have been their views earlier, will now accept wholeheartedly the decision of Srimati Sonia Gandhi, who is the supreme leader of the Congress party.
The news sparked massive celebrations in Amritsar, with supporters of Sidhu marking an early Diwali.
पूरे पंजाब में दिवाली का माहौल है। सारे लोग, कांग्रेसी वर्कर, कांग्रेस लीडर इतने खुश हैं, इतने फोन आए हैं और सारे पंजाब में जश्न मनाए जा रहे हैं।
The surgical strike on Amarinder came as a group of MPs supporting the chief minister wanted to meet party chief Sonia Gandhi and put forward their views. Captain and his loyalists had pushed for Pratap Singh Bajwa, a key leader and arch-rival of Sidhu, to be the PCC chief. Ahead of the announcement, 10 Punjab Congress MLAs also released a statement urging the party high command to not let down Captain Amarinder. The MLAs had said that Captain is the tallest leader and that Congress is standing tall in Punjab due to him. These legislators had demanded Sidhu apologize to Captain and further accused him of creating a rift. Sidhu held a flurry of meetings with his loyalists ahead of the elevation. Gandhi seemed to have taken a calculated risk by backing the relative greenhorn over warhorse Captain, that too just months before polls. The big question, is the elevation the end of the Punjab Congress feud or the beginning of an already broiling Amarinder Sidhu war? With Manjeet Sehgal, Bureau Report, India Today. And it's not just about Navjot Singh Sidhu being elevated as the Punjab Congress chief, but the fact that none of Captain Amarinder's loyalists were actually accommodated in this rejig rally that we saw within the Punjab Congress. Sources have told us here on India Today that none of Amarinder's aides were actually considered to be given key leadership posts. Hindu leaders like Vijayendra Singh, Manish Tiwari, Dalit leaders like Santosh Chaudhary and Dr. Rajkumar Varka, they're all considered to be Captain's loyalists. They were not even considered for the working president posts. Sidhu's appointment as the state Congress chief emboldens him, despite the fact that he made some very public attacks against Captain Amarinder. It also clearly states that the Gandhis are backing Sidhu over Amarinder, and that could lead to Captain Amarinder's camp being rather miffed. He has a huge clout within the Punjab Congress, and this could only lead to more problems. But let's really recap for you what's led to this crisis within the Punjab Congress. Why are Navjot Singh Sidhu and Captain Amarinder fighting? Well, it's been festering really for the last many years. Since 2017, Sidhu was made a cabinet minister, and that was because of his closeness to the Gandhis. It's always been advantageous for him, especially because he's been against Captain Amarinder Singh, very publicly criticizing him. And then Sidhu also met with the Pakistan Army Chief. He made that hug also with the Pakistan Army Chief that went viral, which Captain Amarinder openly criticized and was against. That's how things have played out to the point now where both of them have made it very clear that they can't stand each other.
Captain Amarinder Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu have been at daggers drawn since 2017. It is said that Captain Amarinder Singh was not happy with the way the BJP leader Navjot Singh Sidhu was inducted in the Congress party just before the assembly elections in 2017. Despite the opposition from senior Congress legislators, Captain Amarinder Singh, under pressure from the Congress High Command, gave a cabinet berth to Sidhu. But cracks emerged when Sidhu tried to bargain for Deputy Chief Minister's post along with home portfolio by using his closeness to the Gandhi siblings. Captain refused to budge. The rift became public after Sidhu went to Pakistan against the wishes of his captain in 2018. Sidhu's hug for then Pakistani Army Chief General Bajwa had Amarinder Singh fuming.
How can it be that every day somebody is being shot, and whether the man who pulled the trigger is to blame or the man who gives the order, which is the chief, and the chief is Mr. General Bajwa. And to say that I don't know General Bajwa, but यहाँ लिखा होता है उनके tunic के ऊपर, that's wrong. And I think that was wrong for him to have shown the affection he did for the Pakistani Army Chief.
3 months later, Captain Amarinder Singh opposed Sidhu's second visit to Pakistan.
I told him, I said, I have taken this stand, and this is what is in the larger interest of my state, and I think you should also reconsider your position. He said, I've already accepted the invitation. I said, well, then you can always tell them that now my Chief Minister has taken the stand, so I wish to, I will not be coming. But he has decided to go.
It was then that Sidhu declared that Amarinder Singh was not his captain.
अरे मेरे कैप्टन राहुल गांधी हैं, उन्होंने तो भेजा है हर जगह. क्या बात कर रहे हो यार? कौन से कैप्टन की बात कर रहे हो यार? हाँ, ओ कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह जी की, वो तो आर्मी के कैप्टन है भाई. मेरा कैप्टन राहुल गांधी साहब है.
At the backdrop of the sacrilege case, Sidhu opened a new front against the captain. It was the first time that the cricketer turned politician publicly accused the Punjab Chief Minister of being hand in glove with the Akalis. It is said that Sidhu was divested of his portfolio after he challenged captain's authority.
जिथे 25 पैसे पैने सी सिद्धू ने 25 पैसे पाए, जिथे 30 पैसे पाने सी उत्थे 30 पाए. वर्ल्ड बैंक तो लैके एक चीज़ नाल लिया के खड़ी की. लेकिन मैं तो कदे किसी ते उंगल चुकी नहीं, ना मैं कदे शिकायत की थी, ना ही मेरी फितरत है. चलो जे कोई उन्होंने ये लगता है यह जी गल है तो वो उन्होंने मर्जी है, महाबदौलत है.
There has to be some discipline in the organization, and in this discipline, I have decided after seeing the performance of our ministers, I've shifted them around. Where I thought somebody is good in a particular job, I've given him that job. And here I thought power is an important thing for Punjab, one of our most important things. And I gave it to Sidhu, but he didn't want it. So I said, no, once a decision has been taken, you can't say I will take this and I will not take that. I mean, it's like some general saying, I'm not going to get posted to Ladakh, send me to Manipur.
Captain Amarinder Singh has not said a word about Navjot Singh Sidhu's recent outbursts against him. But he is believed to have told the Congress High Command that Sidhu had crossed all limits this time. The face-off has now reached a point of no return. With Manjeet Sehgal and Kamaljit Sandhu, Bureau Report, India Today.